It's an ugly disease. It is a very, very difficult thing to watch a child just continue to go down.
I have a daughter with the disease, and she was perfectly healthy until 5 years of age.
And they eventually lose the ability to walk. They end up in wheelchairs with feeding tubes.
Niemann-Pick disease is a group of very rare diseases related to metabolism. It most often affects children, and while the rate of progression is varied, in most forms, it's ultimately fatal. The entire family suffers when Niemann-Pick is diagnosed.
As parents, you give up everything for your children.
All of a sudden, you start having this progressive neurological design, and none of us have heard of it. We're entering into this whole new world, the world of the handicapped, the world of special needs, and there isn't anyone knocking at your door saying, "Hey, I hear you have a sick child, can I help you?"
Dr. Mark Patterson, a pediatrician and neurologist, is an internationally recognized expert in the disease.
Niemann-Pick disease is an inherited genetic disease. It's autosomal recessive, which implies, of course, that both parents are obligate carriers, although they have no manifestations of the disease.
My wife is a carrier of a defective gene. I'm a carrier of a defective gene. And we have a 1 in 4 chance of having a Niemann-Pick child.
There are different forms of Niemann-Pick disease. The common forms are known as types A, D, and C. Ryan has Niemann-Pick type C.
Ryan cannot metabolize cholesterol properly in his body, so those excess cells store in his liver, his spleen, and then eventually the brain, and that's where the functions of the brain start to deteriorate, and that's when life starts to deteriorate. And I love you too.
Most children with Niemann-Pick disease will not live to see adulthood.
So we don't think about tomorrow. We don't think about we don't think about college. We don't think about graduation, girlfriends. We just think about right now, and that's so important.
Niemann-Pick disease manifests in a variety of ways.
And it's often only after a period of time that it becomes apparent that this is a progressive disease, where children not only are slow to acquire new milestones, but begin to lose their abilities.
She's progressed from this little girl of 5 who could dance and sing and do everything to a little girl that needs total care. She has a trach, and she has seizure disorders, and she has a feeding tube, and she struggles for every breath that she takes right now.
It is a difficult and exhausting struggle. In 1992, the National Niemann-Pick Disease Foundation was incorporated. It started with a handful of families who shared what they knew and started raising money for research. Today, the foundation is a national organization with thousands of members offering frontline support to families and physicians learning about Niemann-Pick disease.
You have to go out there and you have to look for the resources. And all of us that have been through that are trying to help be the ones that are knocking on the door. And we hear that you have a child with Niemann-Pick disease. We're here to help you.
The foundation provides up-to-date medical information to doctors and families through the Office of the National Coordinator for Niemann-Pick Disease Type C at Columbia University. The coordinator's office is available to answer questions about the progression of the disease and to connect parents to a wide range of medical professionals with expertise in treating Niemann-Pick disease. The foundation also has a regular newsletter and a website that is full of information and serves to help families connect to other families for comfort, support, and valuable suggestions.
That family, as I call the Niemann-Pick family, they were there for me for anything, and they still are. If I, in the middle of the night and having a bad time, I'll just sit there and type to them, and they'll send back. They know exactly what I'm feeling.
One of the most important activities of the National Niemann-Pick Disease Foundation is the annual conference, where families gather with medical experts, scientific researchers, and counselors to share information and experiences related to Niemann-Pick disease. Attendee Kate Walsh-Vokley is a genetic counselor at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota.
There are multiple values of an organization like the National Niemann-Pick Disease Foundation. I think the most uplifting is the opportunity for the families to get together and understand that they're not alone, that they have people who have had similar experiences, who can provide them with wonderful suggestions. The families who have lived with the condition are the ones who are the experts.
You know, a lot of the families have been here before, so they know how we feel, I think, and they come right up to us and start talking to us, ask us about our son, and share their stories with us, so we can take home some common experiences. We'll know what to expect maybe in the future.
We're just these people in New Berlin, and everybody else's life, you know, goes on, and we have this terrible thing. I mean, you're finally feeling a part of someone.
Raising money for research remains a primary concern of the foundation.
When the foundation was started, it was 7 families. There was maybe 4 of those families that went out raising money, and to think that we have grown into this type of a foundation from the efforts of a few people. Think what can happen if we can encompass more and more people into our battle, what a difference we can make.
Dr. Edward Schuchman of the Mount Sinai School of Medicine is a geneticist and leading researcher into Niemann-Pick disease types A and B. He is hopeful that there will be a breakthrough in finding effective therapies to treat all forms of Niemann-Pick disease.
Our goal is to develop therapeutics that will work in the brain. It's going to take longer, and there's a lot more that we need to understand. But in the long run, do I think there's hope? Yes. Tremendous hope.
Dr. Schuchman says the value of research into Niemann-Pick disease is wide-ranging.
The idea of developing technologies that will deliver genes to the brain, while we're interested specifically in type A Niemann-Pick disease, if we can develop those technologies, they're directly applicable to type C Niemann-Pick disease and other neurological diseases. So there's a tremendous amount of crossover in the research in terms of the technologies that get developed.
The research work could also produce knowledge that will help treat other diseases that involve cholesterol. Dr. Laura Liskin, professor of physiology at Tufts University School of Medicine in Boston, is a leading researcher in the study of Niemann-Pick type C.
It is very possible that a therapeutic that we develop, or that is developed for this what's seemingly rare disease like Niemann-Pick, may have many broader applications for other cardiovascular diseases.
So when you talk about the research and all of the other programs that we are supporting, it's so remarkable because this is our grassroots fundraising. There is no magic pot. It's coming from the efforts of people who at the same time are dealing with their child deteriorating before their eyes. And that's what makes it what we have accomplished with the foundation. That's why it is just so remarkable.
Please help the National Niemann-Pick Disease Foundation lessen the suffering of our children. Your donation and fundraising efforts are greatly appreciated. Donations are tax deductible and may be sent directly to the National Niemann-Pick Disease Foundation, Incorporated, Post Office Box 310, Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, 53538. For more information about Niemann-Pick disease, see our website at www.nnpdf.org or call us toll-free at 877-287-3672. Our direct telephone number is 920-563-0930.
My greatest wish would be to hear my little girl talk to me again, but I know that won't happen. So my wish now is to save the other children with this disease so that they do not have to go through what she has gone through.
Thank you for supporting the National Niemann-Pick Disease Foundation.